On the banks of the Murray River in Pinjarra one morning in 1832, a group of about 80 First Nations men, women and children were preparing for the day when a militia led by Governor Stirling in the company of John Septimus Roe appeared from behind a hill. A few hours later, as many as 50 of them lay dead and dying on the once peaceful banks and serene waters of a sacred land, as Stirling's men walked amongst the bodies, finishing off the injured. It was spear against gun, Indigenous against colonial, an army against the family, and the beginning of an end.
Demingen Maman got weird. Demingen Maman got weird. Young Corina, I'm one of your Mort family, a descendant of yous that sit here and gather with me today in spirit. I could feel your spirit, but I can't see yous. But I could feel that wind, that spirit of my old people. You know, we've got a horrible colonial history here in Western Australia, but enough of it's not told correctly. My people were massacred when settlement began here in Western Australia back in the 1800s. They went from Fremantle all the way along our Derbyl-Yerrigan, our river, all the way down to Pinjarra. We sit amongst the river and the bushes today, my budja, my country, and I can feel my old people's spirits, my old ancestors.
According to John Septimus Roe, who was the first Surveyor-General of Western Australia, it was an exemplary punishment from a conflict which started by the theft of a bag of flour. Prior to this incident, Indigenous land had been claimed by farmers, and Indigenous people had lost access to grounds used for feeding and providing for them. A flour mill had been built on the sacred birthing grounds in the area now known as South Perth. The First Nations people were being pushed out of a home they had nurtured for more than 50,000 years.
I'm Sandra Roe. I'm a member of the Roe family. My great-great-grandfather was John Septimus Roe, who is very well known in Perth, in Western Australia. It's a bit hard to have an ancestor, illustrious as he is. It's hard to realise that he participated in this atrocity.
They went down to show my people, you know, prove a point to my family, prove a point to my ancestors. Yeah, they killed many women and children, but I was lucky that my great-great-great-grandfather survived, because he was a child. He would have been probably less than 11, 12 years of age, easy. Their mother threw him amongst the reeves. So they could survive.
I was introduced to Corina as the great-great-granddaughter of John Septimus Roe. She was great-great-granddaughter of one of the elders. I think he survived by the Pinjarra massacre, and it was an enormous surprise. And I started to say, I'm sorry. I was going to say how sorry I was about this whole event. And she had a glass of wine, I had a glass of wine, and she clinked her glass of wine in mine, clinked her glass with mine and said with a big smile, "We meet in unity." My meeting Corina has to be it was probably the most important meeting ever in my life.
There's no justice. We suffer the injustices, the diseases, the sickness that I suffer today, you know. That's part of the intergenerational trauma that I still suffer when my old people suffered back in the old days.
I do believe that the friendship with Corina I hope it stands for reconciliation between the Indigenous Australians and the rest of us. So I hope by telling our story, I can further inform people about this, the struggle Indigenous people have had, and also about the history of her people, who her people were and what they went through.